do respect everybody's time. Thank you for coming. Mary Lou.
I'm Mary Lou Nosko, and I am from the Fourth Reg and from the great state of Iowa.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Lynn.
Lynn Belcher, C1.
Betty.
Betty Stevens, G1.
Anna.
And I'm in Virginia.
Oh, thank you, Betty.
And
Anna.
Anna Smith, I3, also in Virginia.
Mary Ann.
Mary Ann Durso, C4, Virginia and Alabama.
Teresa.
Second reg, Teresa Hogarth, second reg, and I'm in North Carolina.
Sheila.
I3, and I am from Missouri sometimes.
Thanks, Sheila. And my name is Pam Warwick, and this is the LOC Connection Series. Oh, and I guess I should throw in I3. And we're here tonight, and we're very excited to present Carol Van Drie. Carol Van Drie is our artist and dear friend, but I would like to tell you just a little bit more. I looked up her bio on the internet, and it says she is a writer, an artist. She's also the wife of the 77 classmate, Mark. She has written 2 books, as well as news articles and humorous columns for publications large and small. We're blessed to call her the LOC artist, where she designed the condolence cards and also the cards for sending happy messages out. She created and designed and donated the artwork for our widows. It is my pleasure to welcome her and also call her friend. Carol.
Hi, ladies. Thanks so much for coming tonight. I just want you to understand that I have no professional background in art. And how I got into it was I was going to be laid up for surgery. And I decided I can't just read for 3 months with my foot up. And I looked into what could I do. And it started me down the path of I'm going to look into this art thing. And it led me first to needle felting. And it wasn't something I could take with me. So, which led me eventually to watercolors, because I can take that in my RV and travel. So that's a very portable artwork. But it's actually, for me anyway, was the most difficult to learn because it takes patience. But if you can learn to be patient, you can do it. So what I want you to understand is you can go from this. You can go from this. YouTube is your friend. You don't have to take formal lessons. I literally learned on YouTube. And this to that.
Oh, so pretty.
And that's practice, patience, persistence. Practice, patience, persistence. And what you'll see in the video today is the worst thing you can do is overwork watercolor. And that's one of the things that's very difficult. You can do that with oils, you can do that with acrylics, you can do that with other things. And that's the thing I had to learn, was the patience of patience with watercolor, because when you put down watercolor, it's the patience of waiting and just gently working the watercolor. And you'll see that hopefully in tonight's video. What I didn't make clear, and I think I don't think I made that very clear in the video, we used one of the tools with the crayon, and one of the reasons we used it was because with the crayon, it's waterproof, and it's a simple tool to cover the work that you'll see in the video, and it made it very easy to just blop these drops of water, and then you cover your work. And then you can just very quickly, and you're going to see how easy this is for you to start for your first try at this. And then just go over it. Once you cover your work after you've waited for it to dry completely, cover it with this wax, because that's this white crayon, and you cover your work, and you'll see this in the video. And you're going to see you cover it, and then you just go over it with your water color, and it will protect those little blops that you did, and those are going to become your flowers. So I don't know that I explained that very clearly for you about the crayon in the video. So anyway, but this is also what I wanted to show you. I actually, you can self-teach yourself with practice.
It's beautiful.
This is
Wow.
truly, I've had no formal training,
Mm.
no college, no formal training. I've taken no formal training, university, college, high school, other than, the regular art class that everybody takes. So what I'm telling you is, if you want to do this, if you have a passion to do this, if this is for you, you could do it. And it's one of the cheapest art you can pick up to try to learn. So that's what's so cool about it. That the tools you can buy initially are really not that expensive. So we could just when you're ready, Pam, we could start. And then if you have any questions, take notes, and then you can ask me later, and we could watch and go through the teaching, and we'll see if you can have any questions for me. Hey, first things first, anybody can do this. Anybody. I know what you're thinking. Practice, 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 sometimes on the daily. And that's all it takes, really. But patience, practice. Also, never overwork watercolor. Kind of those are the three things you're gonna have to worry about. And this is the worst thing that you will have to try to get over. And that's where the patience comes in also. Let me show you an example of overworking. Let me show you an example of overworking. Here's a lovely flower. We're going to do a flower, and we want flower is, think of flower as think of watercolor as a delicate petal, and you're going to want to keep going, and you're going to want to keep going, and you see how I go over and over the same part of the watercolor. This is abuse of watercolor. Abuse. What you want to do is you drop your color in, get a little bit more of your water, and you're going to want to come in and touch it and not come back and leave it. And here's the thing, I don't like that, but here's what you can do. You let it dry. You can come back later. Your friend is layering. Let it dry. I'm going to come back later. I'm going to let that dry completely, and I'm going to put another layer on that, and I'm going to find that I can put other petals on there and do a better job. So your friend in watercolor is be delicate. Treat it like it's a petal of a rose. So that's one of the important things to remember. Do not overwork your watercolor. Next. The other things are your tools. The most important thing you're going to have to get with your watercolor is your paper. It's a catch-22. You're going to have to get expensive paper. That's the bad news. The good news is you don't have to get the biggest paper. That's very expensive. Get tiny. Here's little tiny paper. Make sure it's 100% cotton. There's cold press. Think cold press is bumpy. Think Goosebumps cold. Hot press is smoother. Cold press tends to be what most watercolors
get. We could talk another time about why cold press is better than, or whatever. 100% cotton. If you get the cheapest garbage paper, you will become frustrated. You will never go back to watercolor. You have to trust. You must get the best paper. I will put a list of the best ones out there. As long as it's 100% cold pressed or 100% cotton, there's a bunch out there. Suggestion, Amazon, look at what other artists are saying. If they say it's great, it's great. Next, you don't have to get the best paints, but again, go on Amazon, look what they say. There's some paints, there are some paints out there that are, they say student, by the way, student grade, they'll say a professional grade. That's another story. Don't worry about it. You don't have to get the best paint grades. Again, the most important thing is the paper. What I would do to start out with is get kind of cheaper, and because the most important thing is your paper. And then go from there, read what the reviews are saying. Lastly, and I'll give you a list of some recommended. Lastly, your paintbrushes. Don't get you don't have to get the most expensive. These are what I will be using in the demonstration today are expensive ones. You don't have to. You also don't have to get real fur. These synthetics now are brilliant. They're fantastic. What you do want, my suggestion that I found are pointed brushes I find the best, and they call them mops, the mop shape. Those are the best watercolor types of brushes. You don't need every kind. You will find, as you can see, I am a brush hoarder. You don't need to be a hoarder like me. You just need to get some of the sizes, like a 10, 12, 8. Actually are we can go, I'll list, you can ask questions later about the approximate sizes, but you do not need the most expensive brushes on the market. Just read the reviews that they don't shed, and read what other artists say about them. But pointed and mops are what you, hi, all right. For this, it's 100% cotton paper. Today, you will need a Crayola crayon, white Crayola crayon. Actually, any one of these brushes will do for this. You don't need a specialized brush for this. All right, first we're gonna start out. 25 dots, generally in this area of your paper. So you get a paper approximately this size, and generally in this area, we're gonna do dots. And I'm gonna, what I quickly want to tell you, don't get tube paints when you're starting out. We could go into another reason why. Just get these kinds of paints. They're cheaper, and you won't waste as much. You don't have to worry about mixing and so forth. This way, they're all set out for you. That's just my advice. So I'm just gonna go directly into, I'm not mixing on my palette at all. I'm going directly into a pretty color I want. Pick any color you want. 25 different dots I'm gonna make. Anywhere randomly on your paper, somewhere a little bit up in here. This is gonna be your sky. This is gonna be your area for your land. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, you do always want to keep your water clean, but that's also another discussion which we won't have time for. I think I want some orange. We're gonna go, paper towels are always an important tool to have. And I do always have some paper towels that I always reuse also too. That's why it's just wadded up. So I go directly into my thing. For this, you do not need a palette necessarily to put your color on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna go to pick another color. This is random. You do not have to do it exactly like I'm doing. This is very, very random. 10, 11, 12, 13. As you can see, I have some watercolors that are very pastel up here. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Done. Now, I have in advance made something, so in the effort for it to be expedient, one in advance for you. I try to be similar. You're gonna take your crayon. This is why anybody can do this. I'm showing you, anybody can do this. And you let this dry completely. You have to make sure it's absolutely dry. You can't do this next step until this is absolutely dry. So, because I have to record this on. So you go over each and every single one of these and make sure it's covered completely with your white Crayola crayon. Each and every one. If you have to go over it a couple of times, do it. To make sure it's completely covered, you want that wax covering your little dot. You can make the dot a little bit big, it doesn't matter. You can make it a little teeny, doesn't matter. This, oh, I broke my, it doesn't matter. You kind of can't make a mistake with this. So, this is easy peasy, don't worry. And again, I have covered every single one. Now, as I said, oh gee, I tripped on that. Okay, making sure this is one that was pre-prepared. Now, this is our next step. After I had put the Crayola on it, I've gone to my next step. Now, I'm taking one of my preferred brushes that's slightly larger. This is my 12 Escoda. That really is a good, holds water nice. I like the way it holds water. I'm just going to take one of my lighter colors. I will go on my palette for that, because what I want to start out with is make this a nice, take one of my greens, any green, just take any green you want. If it's a little bit too dark, because what you want to start out with, you just add more water. So I'm adding water, because what I want to start out with is a little bit, make it a little bit lighter. And I'm going to come in and I'm making, and you're just going to make your little, and then a little bit darker with that same green, you mix it in. It's because you want to keep a little bit of cohesion. Just a little bit. You make your little, I always like to make little, yeah, see? You can't make a mistake, just make your little, this is your little area in here. And then you go in. And you keep going in with your different green. Now, you can also now add in a little bit more, because not every garden is all green. I will add in this and go in. And class, what did I say about what we have to worry about? And that is, we do not want to overwork. So we will now, for now, we're gonna let that dry. and leave it. And what I will show you, because we're ending our class for now, because what I'm going to show you is the finished product when it's dried and finished, because what we do now is we're going to let this dry completely, and later on, because I'm not satisfied, I want to add more, because later on I want to add more in where that's attached, and you can see more coming up. I want that to look more detailed, and we don't have time to do that today, but I want to show you a finished product of this, because you can do this. Okay, after you've let it dry, again, like I said, you don't want to overwork anything when it's wet. Now, I really kind of overdid it. You could have probably worked that a little bit more. We just don't have the time. So that's why I stopped where we stopped. But what you can do is take smaller. That's another brush, by the way. This is called a rigger brush. Rigger brush is always very good for like stems and so forth, for floral and all that. So a rigger brush is a good brush to have. Something else I want to add. When you were watching videos, which is YouTube videos for teaching, are fabulous to learn watercolor. Do not buy the specialized brushes that these teachers sell. You don't need them. Because that's part of how they make money. I bought all their brushes. They're slanted and they have pretty colors on their stems and everything. You don't need them, especially when you're first starting out. You may find later, oh wow, the dagger brush is great for blank, because you like to make certain florals type of thing. You don't need them to start out. So that's just a tip. That as a beginner, just get a set of mops, a set of pointed that you think are great for you, and you don't even actually need a set. Just get some of, a cheaper set, but that's not super cheap, and look at the reviews, and you will be golden. You won't need all these things. But anyway, so I went back, and with my, later on, this is a finished one that I love doing this so much when I'm just in between doing paintings, that this is with my rigger brush later on. Actually, I don't even think I did use a rigger with this. Here's a finished, where I didn't even do, didn't even use a rigger. But this is a finished product of what you can do, and after complete drying, and I really didn't even do that much finished, to finish it off. You can do this. Anybody can do this, especially as a first-time project. That completes it. I hope you can see how easy this is. If you have any questions, I would love for you to reach out to me. I will answer your questions, any questions that you have, because we can't cover it in this short amount of time. When I do classes, it's like an hour. So please reach out. I'd be more than happy to help you. I know what you're thinking, that, oh, I know I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. You can do this. Anybody can do this. I never had a class in college. I never took classes in high school. Everybody can do this, and so can you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, going back to the gallery. So now and very timely, Carol, thank you. So we have time for questions. So I'd like to open it up to our gallery for anything or comments.
Carol, do you have a YouTube channel that you particularly like the most?
Oh, wow. There's so many. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to do landscapes, do you want to learn to do animals? Do you want to do, see, it just depends on where you want to start and what you like, what you think you want to do. So, if you want to, I could just contact me and I can honestly, I follow like 300.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
there's like so many that are
Okay.
out there that are so good that when I started out, and there isn't any one that I, watched, I would watch because each one has their own specific, like if I wanted to know how to do the light, I'd go to one, and then if I wanted
Okay.
to learn how to do clouds, so it would depend. So if just it just would depend on what you want to learn.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a tough one. There are like my top, I would actually top 20
Yeah.
I would go to. So
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Sheila, you had a question?
Yeah, I do. Does it, you said it had to be 100% cotton paper. Can it, now I've seen watercolors on canvas. So is that considered 100% cotton or is that totally something different?
that's different. And as for a beginner, I wouldn't suggest trying canvas only because that's very expensive. That's super expensive to start. That just wouldn't be something I would suggest. So if you start out on paper and then as you progress and get better, then certainly you could advance to going, because when you make a mistake, it's the problem with watercolor. It's kind of it's a little bit unforgiving. It's difficult to go back and to make mistakes with a little bit. That's a whole other teaching.
Okay.
And what's great about watercolor, it's when it's paper, you rip it up, start another piece of paper. So that's what's so great about the paper. So canvas, not so much. Canvas.
Okay.
So that's why I wouldn't suggest canvas to start if you're a beginner.
But it's,
If you're a beginner.
but is canvas 100% cotton? It doesn't always have.
Usually canvas is treated cotton with, it's called gesso. It's usually treated with gesso. So you'd have to get untreated canvas, untreated gesso.
Okay.
Usually they treat canvas with, it's called gesso, and that you wouldn't want it treated.
Okay. All right.
So,
Thank you.
Teresa?
Yes, Carol, first of all, I got one of your paintings and I just want to thank you so much. It just warmed my,
oh,
every time I go in that room, I believe it or not, I have an art studio, but I have not been motivated to do anything. I quit when I was in my early 20s. And I know Jim always wanted me to go back to art. But my problem is, I know you said it takes patience and practice, both of which I'm very weak in patience.
yes.
And then practice, I find that I get so frustrated, once start,
Right.
like I feel like I'm not doing as well as I had, when I was a teenager, drawing. So how do you stay motivated when you start, painting? And
Well, what you do is start with something very, very simple, and that was my mistake in the beginning. I went to something complicated, and I didn't go back to watercolor for a long time. So try, especially since you have a background in it. What was your background? What was your background in?
well, I actually went to graphic design. I went to art school, but it was when I was in like 15 and 16, when I look at some of the work I did then, um, I had talent, but I just all up, because I was, just frustrated with it and just went on to other things in my career. But I know that I would love to get back into it. And when looking at your work, it's so beautiful. And I sometimes think of what would you want people to think about when they look at your work? Because I know what I think about when I look at your work. It's just brings so much warmth and
Oh, thank you.
so I was just curious what you wanted, people to think about when they see your work.
That's so interesting. I don't even know. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought about that. Joy, what you just said.
Yeah.
What you just said, that it just, I don't, just get that warm feeling, makes them feel joy and a warmth that just makes them feel good, that goodness feeling that, because I don't, it does, what I feel about it, it's a subjective feeling, you know, for each person. That's, you know, that if as a person that studied the arts, but going back to you and you know, and what you want to do with it to start back into it. Um, go small, go simple, go really, I mean, literally like baby steps,
Mm.
because then get to get those juices going again. And then I hope for, I really do hope that it will start to inspire you to want to do it, and try to remember what used to get you going. Start to just look at things that, look at photographs,
Mhm.
look at photographs to inspire you. And that always gets me going. Often my muse is landscapes of Michigan.
Oh,
That's what just gets me going if I get stuck, if I feel stuck. And then all of a sudden I'll go, oh, I want to paint that. You know, that kind of thing. Think of what gets you there, like that, you know, like makes you feel that way. Although, you know, if that might help you, to you, maybe it's animals for you. Do animals float your boat? You know, that kind of thing. Whatever gets you to, you know, makes you feel that way. And then maybe do something on a small scale. Do just and just do it very, very small, and start small. I mean, literally small.
okay.
Try that, but do it. There was somebody that the same way, just like you, she hadn't done it since college, and she started, and now she's back into it. But she started small. And she's back into it again, and I'm so glad to hear. Just she said, because she started seeing me do it, and she knew I didn't in college. I didn't do anything. She was my college mate, and she said, I think she looked at it going, well, if Carol could do it, and I was an art major, I better get back into it. So, so I'm so glad she did, because she really had talent. So you need to do it. You need to get back to it.
Thank you. I think you're inspiring me to do so
Oh, good, good. Really, especially if you've got that talent.
well. Thank you.
Other questions?
Carol, do you ever
Lynn.
do
Oh,
portraits?
Lynn
Do
and
you do
Mary Ann. Lynn,
I'm sorry,
Hi.
Marianne.
Hi, Carol.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
First of all, thank you for sharing your passion and your craft with us. It was very enjoyable, especially for someone who can't draw a straight line with a ruler. But can you explain to me one more time what the purpose of putting the wax on those dots was?
It simply it makes the little dots waterproof, so that when you make your grass, it keeps the flowers from getting smeared. That's all that is, so that you can just make that grass any way you want.
Okay.
And so you could just make, and the whole thing is light touch with that grass. So when you're making those brush strokes, just do it lightly.
Okay.
And make it, and always light to dark with watercolor. Watercolor is light to dark. And I don't think I made that clear. I was so worried. That was my first pre-recorded video. Usually I do it live, so I'll remember to say that. Light to dark. So you always go light to dark with watercolor, because so your colors are light first, and then you go darker. So that's very important. I'm sorry.
I think we should all do it and have show and tell.
There
Yeah.
you go. Right. But the
Thanks.
wax is what keeps those little your florals from smearing when you put your grass over it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mary Ann, you also had a question?
Do you ever do portraits, Carol?
That is,
watercolor?
that is my next, learning curve. No, I don't. I'm not good at faces at all. And that is actually something I'd like to learn. I don't do faces. No, I do animals. I do birds. I love to do birds. But I don't do faces yet. That is, I hope in my future.
Well, I have several watercolors and I'm now appreciating them a lot more.
Yes,
What goes
yes.
into them.
I
A
love your
lot.
stuff. To me, it's very ethereal, and I love the softness in it. It's very calming. Everything that I've seen that you've done, it's just very,
You.
very soft. That I
Thank,
love that.
thank you. Thank you so much, Betty. Thank you.
I love the flowers that you've done and that you sent. They're all just I don't know, very attractive, and kind of like Teresa said, just it creates a feeling. When you sent me one when I lost my mother, and I just feel like that just represented her being here for the last time. Is a white flower. It just kind of blends and fades away, but she's still here. And
Oh,
so
That's cool.
it's just
oh,
really nice. But of course, then I have some type A questions. Which okay, so would you recommend buying any certain brushes or papers on Amazon, or do you prefer an art supply place? You know, where would you recommend buying stuff to get started? The paper, the synthetic brushes.
did you get my list
No,
of supplies?
no, but I will look for it and put it out.
Okay, if not, I'll resend. I have a list of supplies that are the
Oh,
suggested
that would be great. That
list
would be
of
great.
brushes and that are because there's brushes that aren't too expensive that you can get
Okay.
that I put several. You know what, Amazon, especially if you're just starting.
Okay.
I wouldn't go to any art supply if you're just starting. Now, if you're seasoned, that's a whole other issue. You go into, yeah, because then you know what you're looking for. But Amazon, yeah, Amazon's the best place. And because what's great is you read the reviews and you can see, because the big thing is you don't want them to shed. Whether you start out or not, shedding brushes are uphill. You
Okay.
don't want that.
So
They're
do,
annoying.
so
So
do you, what
yeah.
about Hobby Lobby or Michael's or something? Would they carry?
They usually, you could go to Hobby Lobby, but they usually don't carry sets. So then you usually, certainly you could. Hobby Lobby's great, but usually they're not sets, and usually the sets are super cheap, like child's cheap.
Mm.
And I wouldn't go super cheap, and those shed. See, then you're into the super shedding cheap children's set. So yeah, and that's when you get into frustrating when they're shedding and it's like it's literally falling apart and while you're
Can, can
so
you do, this is a question that I know probably all of you as a child did paint by number, right?
yeah.
So do they have paint by number watercolors? That would be up my alley.
You could but now don't you think you could do what I just showed you tonight?
Yes, I do. I'm just
Because
joking
look, see, here's one, here's another. I could, this is one, another one, and then another one where I put the sky
around.
in.
Mm.
This is something anybody could do. And you know what? So you do what I did, and if you feel you don't like it, rip it up and do another one. It's you've got the crayons like this box I think costs like
Right.
of white crayons cost, like $4.99, I think it was, In other words, what I showed you tonight to start, you could do as a project just to see if you like it. And if you do like it, then what you can do is you reach out to me again. I am open. I will give you other projects to do. I'll tell you, okay, now try this one. And here's
Okay.
another easy, easy landscape. Let me show you a landscape that you can do that anybody can do. That's a super simple landscape project to do. That's easy to learn, and so on. I can show you simple, easy projects. Remember our artists, I'm sorry, our author, Tracy Wood, okay, she went on a cruise with me and she kept going, I can't do any, I can't do. I said, yes, you can. And on that cruise, she did 5 paintings.
Mm.
So I can, I can teach you very simple things that you can get started to do. So reach out and I will just show you simple things. If I have to, I'll do other videos and I'll just quick send them to you. We'll figure something out. But I can show you, or I can send you to a YouTube video. Look at this one. This is a super easy, simple. If this is something you really think you want to do, I promise you, anybody can learn this. Anybody can learn watercolor. What you do have to do is you can't overwork it. You do have to practice it. I have to say, you will have to practice it. You're not going to be able to just pick it up and leave it for 3 weeks and then expect to pick it up again and expect to, you will have to practice it quite often. That is the one thing you will have to do. And you will have to be patient. What happens with this is you have to put it aside when it's wet, unless you do wet on wet. And when you get better at it, you can do it and you can do a whole painting wet on wet and finish it. That's when you get really, really good at it. But when you first start out, you want to you have to let it dry, come back, and you can layer it almost indefinitely. You come back, you do a little bit, you set it aside, you let it dry. Then you do a little bit more. You set it aside, like this. This painting here was layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Like, I just had to step back and do it over. So that's, that's where the patience comes in. So often I'll have several projects going so I don't overwork it, that kind of thing. So that's.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. This was a great presentation and inspiration. Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows? Who
Well,
knows?
I have a
And-
cloud here.
And looking at the screen, we're all pretty good with homework. So we can do 25 dots and we'll
There you go.
we'll do share and tell. And you can give us our next assignment. But Carol, thank you so much. And gallery ladies, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us and learning and learning about Carol's talent. And Carol, thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you,
you.
Carol.
Thank
you.
This was
Thank you.
fun.
Yes.
This is
All right.
great.
Good night.
Good
Good night,
night.
everybody.
Night, everybody.